What a weekend in sports we had. College basketball was on fire over the weekend. The NHL actually had some good things going on too. But then all of a sudden, we turned to the NBA and not pleasant things were said about All-Star Weekend up in the Bay Area. So here we are. We're going to cover the excellence that was in college basketball and the unfortunate travesty that has become our Star Weekend. Sharing Lights Out starts right now.
Sound like some Viking music, don't it?
Yeah, gotta get it out the mud, that's the only way to win. Who am I to point the finger like I never ever seen? Been through the ups and downs like the letter N. They don't let you through the door, better kick that again. Cause that's the only way to win. That's the only way to go. Gotta get it out the mud, gotta get it out the floor. Cause that's the only way to go, let's go.
Shooting Lights Out.
Ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing? Yes, it's a Tuesday, February 18th. Hey, but you know what? I needed to take Monday off to make sure I had this show prepared so I can go live on Tuesday. Normally it'll be Monday, yes. So, but I took an extra day just to make sure this show is nice and good, ready to go. Because this is gonna be something. This is gonna be an episode that you do not want to miss today. Because we're gonna get over what happened in the weekend of college basketball. And they revealed the top 16 teams. So the 1 through 4 seeds, if the tournament was to happen, let's say this weekend coming, well, your top 4 seeds in each region. Both the men and the women, we'll talk about that. And unfortunately, we got to talk about what took place in San Francisco for the NBA All-Star Weekend. Heard a lot of negative things about it. Really didn't hear nothing good things about it. So, it's getting worse and worse for All-Star Weekend, which is terrible. But thank y'all for tuning in today. This show is live on the Playmakers Ball Network YouTube channel. This show is live on the Playmakers Ball Facebook channel. And this show is live on the Playmakers Ball X/Twitter account as well. And to join me in such a fire episode that's coming today, the man for the morning shift with Coach Johnson and Total Football Talk, Coach Johnson.
Yeah. What's up, Playmaker?
What's up?
Oh, my. It is absolutely wonderful to see the NBA go straight down the toilet due to one man.
One man? Wow.
It's
one man? It's a one-man show?
Well, okay, maybe it's a 3-man show, but it's a wonderful day.
I'm gonna say, get crazy. You can throw it all on one person's foot for this?
It's a
monstrosity that we got going on in the NBA?
And meanwhile, the women's game looks like it's picking up more steam. Oh, man. JuJu Watkins.
Hey.
That girl's
man.
Goodness gracious.
That girl, man. Woo! But first and foremost, as we like to do here on Shooting Lights Out, and it's nice to have Coach Johnson back on to talk basketball since he's pretty much done talking football.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Great show between you and Drew Willingham for Total Football Talk.
Appreciate that. Same thing with you and Modest Wrestling with Cole McCain.
That's just getting started. We ain't even get to the fun part of that show yet. But we'll get there.
Oh, I know. Another couple of months.
Yeah, we're on the road to WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, first and foremost, we got to get you your news and notes from around the hardwood. And let's begin around the hardwood with Nafisha Collier tops Aaliyah Edwards in On Rivals one-on-one final. She won $200,000. So she got her money back. Part of her money back, should I say?
Well, I was about to say it looks like she may have gotten as much, if not more, money in one All-Star appearance for the NBA than she does on her own salary in the WNBA. I really hope that they can. I really hope the WNBA can actually find a way to capitalize on the popularity it's having, because these players are awesome. I mean, they have great skill, and I am sick of seeing people try to make commiserate comparisons between a talent like an Nafisha Collier and someone like, I don't know, an Anthony Edwards. It's just it's painful to see, but yeah, pay these women the money they deserve.
It says the winner's check was the largest one-day prize in women's basketball history.
Well, WBA, it looks like you all got a lot of work to do.
Oh yeah, we ain't done with the WBA, but nice to see that Nafisha Collier and Breanna Stewart created this lead, and this lead is gaining traction, even without Caitlin Clark, by the way.
As it should, because it's too much talent for it to not gain traction. Sans her.
And I'm gonna get the Caitlin Clark too. I'm gonna give her around her flowers too. I'm not criticizing her, but everybody thought that Rival would be. Everybody was kind of critical on Rival because they couldn't get Caitlin Clark.
Yeah,
Caitlin Clark is not the entire WNBA.
That's right. We'll get to Caitlin Clark. Folks, we'll get to Caitlin.
Speaking of WNBA,
what? I'm trying to be nice and professional.
I'm just gonna say this: the WNBA offseason has been more interesting than the NBA season.
Well, yes, it has. I mean,
which is that's like the worst thing to say right now.
But it's the truth.
The offseason of the WNBA has been more interesting than the NBA.
Okay, well, all right. Let me get on this soapbox for a quick 30 seconds. So there was a chump that had the nerve online one day to say, well, the NFL got upstaged by the NBA and the NHL this past week. I'm like, please. The NFL got upstaged 2 days, and it was because of a trade that you normally won't see coming. That happened. It wasn't because of the play on the court. And then the NHL, you only got that type of pub because it was 3 fights that took place within 9 seconds of when the puck dropped on center ice.
Which was more entertaining than the entire weekend of the NBA in San Francisco.
I'm like, come on.
I would be bringing that back up when we get to the NBA All-Star.
Yeah. I was like, the NFL was not upstaged by that. The clown show that's the NBA, it's unfortunate. And tying into you and saying that the WNBA's offseason has been more entertaining, and it has been, than the NBA's on season, yes, it's on brand for you to say that.
Lexi Brown got traded to the Seattle Storm. Wow, the Los Angeles Sparks acquired, let's see, a 2025 third-round pick for 2 second-round picks. I said this last time I was on the air. Matter of fact, the last time I was on the air was before I went to New Orleans.
I'm spelling draft positioning.
And the West, if you're in the West, outside of Minnesota, who was representing the West in the WNBA Finals.
Yeah, the Queens of the West, yes.
It's going to be very interesting when this season starts.
Well, I mean, you have to deal with them and the Aces. So, yeah.
The Aces are not holding anymore.
Oh, I agree, but there's still a problem.
The Sparks came back up.
Mm-hmm. And so now the Sparks are trying to make their move. That's understandable. That's why I was saying that this actually might be a draft day pull or draft day move too, where they're trying to position themselves to get a pick. And they might actually try to be building toward the future too, which, if so, it's actually a really good move.
Hey man, I'm looking forward to this season. I'm definitely looking forward to this season.
Yeah, I am too.
Yep.
Thank God it's 3 months from now.
Tom Izzo surpassed Bob Knight for the most wins in the Big Ten in basketball. He had to wait an extra game because he couldn't do it against Bob Knight's Indiana team. But he surpassed Bob Knight. So now, Tom Izzo, officially the winningest coach in Big Ten history.
Tom Izzo. I really do like him. He's good for college basketball. He's good for the game of basketball in general. Unfortunately, the most noted player that has come from his program is Draymond Green.
This makes it even better that he is the most winningest coach in Big Ten history.
Yes, I know he's had great players. Mateen Cleaves is one of them, but still, the guy that went to Michigan State and has had a long and elongated career after being in the program that Tom Izzo coaches, Drayzilla.
What my friend is saying is y'all can't name 5 people who went to Michigan State off the top of y'all heads. That is relevant in basketball outside of Draymond Green. No, that's what he's saying.
No, you can't. No, unless you actually follow Michigan State basketball. No, you can't.
Speaking of college basketball, let's go to the women's. UCLA's Lauren Bates is day-to-day with a foot injury. She missed the win over Michigan State, and we'll see if she be able to go in her next game, which I think is tomorrow against. I forgot against. I think I got it in the other slide, but man, that is not an injury that they wanted at this moment in time for UCLA. That is not an injury they wanted.
Yeah, and they just came off of a big time showdown with USC, so yeah, and I know that game's coming back up sometime within early March. Yeah, that is not an injury that I think they would want to suffer. Unfortunately for the Lady Bruins, that is what they do have to suffer, and hopefully they can. Sounds so cold. Limp their way to the Big Ten tournament and the NCAA tournament to follow. Hopefully,
you was a very cold man.
What?
He was a cold man.
Oh my gosh, I was being complimentary.
Going back to the WNBA, the Fever signed for Brianna Turner. But I'm just going to say this right now because I'm not talking WNBA right now, but y'all need to be afraid. What Indiana has done this all season, they are coming.
Well, it looks like they're trying to win now.
They're coming.
That's what it looks like they're doing. They're winning now. They're not going to be satisfied with. I mean, they eked into the playoffs last year. I don't think they're going to be satisfied with. Well, if we get home court in the first round, that would be a plus, and that would be a winning. That would be a marketed improvement from last year. It looks like no, they want the crown now. They want the crown this year.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it right here, right now. Mark it down. February 8th, going on 5:00 Eastern Standard Time. The Indiana Fever has won the WNBA all season thus far.
18th.
Whatever.
Why are you coming after my neck this episode, Playmaker? Why?
You know why. But yes, you heard it here first on the Playmaker. The Indiana Fever has won the WNBA all season thus far. You still got the draft. We'll see what happens in the draft. And by the way, that draft board, nobody knows who's going number one because there ain't a lot that pays best going number one anymore.
Yeah.
There are some other names to throw in that hat now. And Dallas, I hope y'all paying attention because you have the number one pick. Last time I checked. And speaking of Caitlin Clark, agent says that the WBA needs to play their players high enough, and says that no matter what, they can't play Caitlin Clark enough for what she has done already, which is actually true.
Really? Wow. None of us know that. In fact, even the WBA doesn't know that.
He said it, so, and ESPN quoted it, so I
mean, come on. It has been well known and documented. This league is now in its 29th year, coming into this year. If I'm not mistaken, I think I heard the first year this league actually turned a profit was this past year. And you had the ability as WNBA owners to actually hide behind the fact that you weren't making a profit. You weren't turning a profit. And so you couldn't really pay the players commensurate what they are worth talent-wise. Now you have this juggernaut named Caitlin Clark. She sold out not just gyms where you all have been the last 15 years or so, but you're selling out NBA arenas. And now I'm sure they'll be booking more NBA arenas because of Caitlin Clark's effect. Owners will only get away with what you allow them to. And this is an issue that, yes, you could direct this to the ownership group, but you got to direct it to the labor union that reps these ladies. You have to put the foot on the owner's necks and say, look, you're actually profiting off of us. We need our share. What up with that?
He says owners. I'm going to say NBA. Because that big deal that the NBA got, that factors in the WNBA too.
Agreed. But the thing is, the NBA has been, this is cold, but you thought I was cold earlier. The NBA has been treating the WNBA like hoes. They've been making it rain in their club. Oh, you don't have enough? Oh, here's some more. Oh, there's still enough? Here's some more.
And the reason why when I get back to Caitlin Clark, when I talk All-Star Weekend, I'm going to applaud her for what she did. Because, yeah, she made the right choice.
Oh, you mean... yes, she did make the right choice.
She made the right choice.
She made the right choice.
She made the right choice. Good work, Caitlin Clark. And I think we got one more. Mm-hmm. Yep. This might be a big loss for the Duke Blue Devils because McClung Brown has a dislocated shoulder. No word on how many games he missed as of yet. Looking forward, can then find anything. Duke has not released it yet, so yeah, that could be a big loss going down the stretch of the college basketball season for Duke. Ouch. And that would do it for Around the Hardwood. All right. Quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk college basketball because the way things are going, college basketball deserves the first spotlight because they've been excellent this season.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze god.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to, I can beat up black people.
As he takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific time zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Into the Net FC. Kylian Mbappe just all of a sudden finally understood his role, and I think he finally understood that everything Kylian Mbappe has accomplished already, there is still a hell of a lot waiting for him in the future. Kylian Mbappe is only 24 years old. He has accomplished so much, and you know what? Kylian Mbappe has not even reached his prime. Finally seeing, the Marcus Rashford we have been hoping for such a long time, But, this game, after everything Manchester United has been, doing lately, this was actually the ultimate test, to see if Manchester United, honestly was all of a sudden for real.
I explain this. The United States, maybe they have to suffer this loss as a lesson to learn to prepare for the future. Because 4 years from now, the World Cup is in not one, not two, but 3 countries. The United States of America, Canada, and Mexico. Into the Net FC is available on all streaming platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music.
Slide, dummies. Oh,
like I said, quick commercial break. We ain't gonna take long at all. Now let's get into it. Let's start off with the women's game in the collegiate level.
Slide, dummies. Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's go back to Thursday. A lot of games took place on Thursday. And first and foremost, Florida State. I told y'all not to look past Louisville, didn't I? I told y'all not to. And what did you do?
I thought I told you that we won't stop. Or they did stop. My bad.
Louisville walked into Tallahassee and beat you. Beat you pretty good, too.
No, ladies.
Told you not to do it. Told you.
Don't do it.
And then Georgia Tech, they get upset by Clemson. The Lady Longhorns, Cole Johnson's favorite team, took care of business against the Kentucky Wildcats.
Good week. Good week for the Lady Longhorns.
Nebraska took down Maryland in Maryland. And then the game of the week. USC knocked off UCLA, giving UCLA their first loss of the season, and JuJu Watkins.
She did her thing.
Even the announcers knew as she made her second theater. I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a JuJu game right now. 38 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, and this is Cole Johnson's favorite stat here: 8 blocks.
I love it when a talented player can show that work on the defensive end. I love it. I love that. I love that commitment on the other end, saying I can put up the points, but I can deny you scoring on the other end. I love that. Yes.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to shock Cole Johnson and a lot of other people. Cole Johnson, what college team do I hate the most?
Be the one that we're seeing now that's clad in the maroon and the gold mustard. That would be Southern California.
Yes. But guess who's my favorite player right now as we speak?
So your favorite player in basketball is on the program you like the least.
Yes.
And that would be one JuJu Watkins.
JuJu Watkins has become my favorite player.
So I guess you'll be praying for the time she'll declare for the draft, so you can actually no longer actually root for her on USC.
That would be great, but who knows what's gonna happen in that time? Because the way New York is looking, I don't see New York sliding anytime soon.
Yeah.
So that probably won't be a good idea for me. I'm still hurt at the fact that we lost Caitlin Thorpe to the expansion team, but it's all good. I'll find time to get over it.
Yeah, but say your Liberty might go back to back. So yeah.
But it is what it is. But yes, JuJu Watkins as we go. Watching her, she is a baller.
Mm-hmm. Now I haven't seen much of her this year. I saw her last year, and I was thinking to myself, "Oh, there's makings of something really good with this woman. There's something really good."
Oh, and by the way, she has scored the most 30-point games against ranked opponents, which surpassed Caitlin Clark.
Oh yeah. Yeah, when she gets in the league, when she gets to the WNBA, she's gonna tear it up.
Trying to tell y'all. Yes, Caitlin Clark is this and that. And like we said, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese is Magic and Bird.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan is on the way.
Yeah, but JuJu would be considered the Jordan of the WNBA. Yes.
Jordan is on the way. Trust and believe me. Just when you have time, I know it's because they Southern California, they got the late games on the East Coast, so you can't stay up and watch. But when you can't, watch JuJu. That girl's bad.
Yeah, she'd have been. Yeah, she fire.
So yes, Caitlin Clark, you might be having some company in some years. Then let's go to Sunday. We had a triple header that was must see on Sunday. And let's go in order.
Okay.
The beatdown that was not expected.
What has happened to the Lady Gamecocks? Woo, my.
87 to 58, 7-ranked Huskies knock off 4th ranked and defending champion Gamecocks.
I mean, forget the 2 losses before this one. I did not have on my bingo card that the Lady Gamecocks will get beaten down by 29 in Columbia. To anybody, let alone the Lady Huskies. To anybody.
That was that. Now, full disclosure, everybody's going to talk about Azzi Fudd. Granted, 28 points, 18 in the third quarter, 11 from 22 from the field, 6 for 10 from 3-point range, 5 rebounds. Here's the thing. They was already up 20 plus at halftime. That was when she only had 10 points. Her 18 points in the third could have pretty much shut the door on South Carolina.
So if the game was closer, that 28 points would probably been more.
Yes. Yes. Paige gave you 12 and 10 with 7 rebounds. But yeah, we're going to shout out Azzi Fudd because if this is what UConn's supposed to look like when they're fully healthy, y'all might want to be scared of Gino and Rim getting that 12th title.
I was going to say they may join the men in getting a title this year too. Yeah.
But man, that was a beat down in Columbia that I did not expect.
No, I did not expect that either.
And for those of you who want to come at me on Facebook because I pointed out one player, yes, I did call out Raven Johnson because she had me 0 points.
Ouch. Well, she deserved to be called out.
0 for 3, 0 for 2 from 3-point range with 3 assists.
You got called out for calling that effort out?
I say Raven Johnson didn't show up, man. People lost their minds. The whole team didn't show up. I know the whole team didn't show up, but guess what? When you talk about South Carolina, you hear the names of Pow and you hear Raven Johnson. Those are the only 2 names you really hear about.
Here's the thing. So when people say, well, the whole team doesn't show up, the effort of the number 1 and number 2 players will be highlighted before anything else, including what the coach did or didn't do. Because you expect them to actually show up and do their best to try to pull their team up from doing next to nothing to doing something. And when they also do nothing, they're going to get the lion's share of the blame. That's just how it is.
You got 2 guys on here who know Raven Johnson. And why do we know Raven Johnson? Because that's who the media picked on the South Carolina Gamecocks team. Mm-hmm. They don't talk about kicks. Ted Johnson, they talk about sometimes. But Pow and Raven Johnson are the main 2 names we hear from South Carolina. Mm-hmm. You can't give me 0 points. Now, Pow, I got to call you out. You went 3 for 11. For 11 points. You had the same amount of points as field goal attempts that you took. That's not good. That's never good. You should not have the same amount of points as attempts you made. But yeah, South Carolina has lost 3 games already this season. Do I need to be worried about Don Staley and her Gamecocks? By the way, one of the losses was to UCLA. That was about 15 in November.
Yeah, Let's see how they are in the SEC tournament, because I want to see if they can get past LSU and Texas. I think those will be good get back games for them if they face them in the tournament, so that if they can compete against them admirably and favorably, then they probably stand a better chance of repeating. Otherwise, we'll be seeing another performance like this in March Madness.
And here's something I thought about when it comes to South Carolina. There's no, I don't want to say leader, because leader, when we say leader, leaders is component of a lot of different things. You might not be the best player on the team, but you're the leader of the team. We have seen that happen.
Oh, to borrow an NBA analogy, a lot of people kept going down my neck years ago saying, well, Kevin Durant's the leader of the team. We're talking about the Warriors back in 2018. Well, Kevin Durant's the leader of the team. Kevin Durant's the leader of the team. I'm like, no, he's not. There's a difference between best player and leader. He's the best player on the team. Stephen Curry is easily the leader of it. I'm sorry. You can argue with your mom or mine. That's just how it rolls.
So I don't want to use leader, because that's like being overused. But there's nobody that stood up and said, hey, we are the South Carolina Gamecocks. We're not playing like it.
That's not good.
See, when you went against South Carolina, you knew, well, okay, 1 year we got to deal with AJ Wilson. That's not going to be fun. Next year, okay, now we got to deal with Aaliyah Boston. That's not going to be fun. Then 1 year after that, you got to deal with Camila Cardozo. That's not going to be fun. Those were your three leaders when South Carolina was taking home championships. Where's the leader on South Carolina?
Well, I think that's the issue that you may have when you have these uber talented players, where they go into the WNBA and they show how good and how talented they are by leading teams to their crowns and their championships. Now, are you seeing this team, talk about the Gamecocks, are you seeing them be like the blue bloods that you normally would see in years past? You know, like in the 80s and early 90s, it was Tennessee. In the 90s and 2000s and a little bit of 2010s, it was Connecticut, which would be, do you reload? Do you reload? Do you reload? Do you reload? Or do you need to have this 1 year where, okay, you have a talented team, but you don't have that championship quality team because of what you're saying, that presence of somebody who galvanizes the team and says, look, we can't play any worse than this. This is rock bottom, and we are not accepting playing like this. We got to play much better than this. And it doesn't, and it can't come from the coach. It can't come from Don Staley. It has to come from one of the players.
So, yes, if you want to know the answer to my own question, yes, I am worried about Don Staley in South Carolina. I don't know if they can go back to back.
As I said, I think the SEC tournament will tell a lot if they can or can't go back to back.
We did have a rivalry going on. In-state rivalry, by the way. Number 10 NC State taking on 12th ranked North Carolina. Back and forth game, which you expect in a rivalry game. And Renata Kelly led the way, 23 points with a 1-point victory over the rival Wolfpack. Big win for North Carolina. Big win for North Carolina. Good win. Good win. Now, Coach Johnson is going to love this. Just when you thought LSU was going to pull one out in Austin.
That's how you're supposed to do it, baby. That's how you're supposed to do it.
The Longhorns did not go down at home. They fought back and they won 65-58. And here's the crazy part. They did it at the free throw line.
Seal the deal at the charity stripe. Yes, sir. That's how you're supposed to do it.
You are not supposed to shoot 21 for 21 from the free throw line.
You're not, but if you can, cool. I mean, look. I mean,
21 points from the line.
Both teams. Well, I expect this from LSU and Texas. Both teams brought it defensively. You got to get the points somehow, somewhere, some way. And if in the charity stripe you are perfect, You might as well do that. And you did this against a top 5 squad who had the lead going into the fourth quarter on you in your crib. So some good championship medal by the Lady Longhorns. I'm proud of you girls. You did your thing.
Now, I spoke about leadership with LSU. Let's talk about, leadership with South Carolina. Let's talk about LSU. Between Johnson, Murrow, and Williams. Them 3 ladies need some help.
No. What needs some help is Kim Mulkey's wardrobe. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to say that out loud. I'm sorry. Here's my issue with LSU. I personally believe that there's some times where, and this is a non-joking criticism I have. There's sometimes I really believe Kim Mulkey takes away from her players. And it's like she's so interested in wanting to usurp authority of others and assert authority. And I sometimes question her game management. There's times I really do question it. And yes, I know she's been in college basketball for almost 20 years. I know. But if you have a team down, a good team, a top 5 team who is a division or is a conference rival, you have them down 5 going to fourth quarter, and you don't have your team show up on both ends of the floor.
Man, you got to outscore 21-9 in the fourth quarter.
That's what I'm saying. Your team doesn't show up on both ends of the floor. That's a problem. And yes, definitely call it the players, but I'm looking squarely at Kim Mulkey. You got to focus your players, and it can't be about I'm the baddest on the block. Look, it got to be I got some soldiers with me, and I got to guide them to victory. And sometimes I don't think she does.
Michaela Williams, 18 points. Flau'jae Johnson, 16 points. Anissa Murrow, 15 points. Guess how many rebounds she had?
20.
20 rebounds. And guess what? Nobody else scored more than 3 points on the LSU team. Them 3 need help.
Yeah.
You can't. You got 18, 15, and 16 from your players, with one of them giving you 20 rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to win that game.
Yeah. Especially if you're on the road. That's supposed to be a W. Yeah. But
Texas' best player.
If the cast don't do jack, yeah, you're right.
Texas' best player is Madison Booker. And full disclosure, I'm going to let y'all know she is the female Kevin Durant of college basketball, in my opinion.
Oh, so you mean to tell me she has naps in the hair and she don't comb it? She don't brush it? Is that what you're saying?
That's your own player too that you're talking about. You just why are you going to? You just want to be cold today, don't you?
No, man, I'm not being cold. Oh my gosh!
You know, you watch her play. You know she looks like Kevin Durant.
Yes,
and matter of fact, she wearing her number too.
A person her size that you don't think could handle the rock all that well, and can handle the rock and can shoot it from anywhere and can be an offensive problem for anybody 1 through 5. Yeah, I am aware of that. Yes, I am.
She had 16 points and 10 rebounds. Guess what 10 of them points came from?
Oh, the free throw line.
10 of her 16 points came from the free throw line.
I love that. Be money on that line.
I'm like, you don't supposed to make 21 free throws.
Be money on that line.
But Texas made 21 for 21. And they stymied the Tigers. And by the way, to your point about Kim Mulkey, stop having the Tigers turn the ball over. That's 22 turnovers y'all had.
See, that's the thing, man. just focus on the wrong stuff. And I see it too many times with this woman.
You can't have 22 turnovers on the road. We all know this.
And definitely against a team that's ranked in the top 5, like you. If you know they're prioritizing taking care of the ball, you got to prioritize taking care of the ball. Just that simple.
Jeez. Come on, get it together, LSU. I like y'all. Now, Texas has a win over LSU and over South Carolina, which puts them in the top spot in the Southeastern Conference.
SEC. Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm pretty sure Texas is happy with that split with South Carolina because the first time they met, that wasn't a fun meeting in Columbia for Texas. But they got them back in Austin.
So you got to do it. Whoop them when you can.
So, just like in football, Texas has made a statement in women's basketball that we are here and y'all going to have to deal with us.
Yes, Lord.
Can they do what the football team couldn't do, though? And actually take home the conference championship.
And that's why I said, I think, before any of us say, well, South Carolina, I think the road to repeating is gone. Let's see how they handle LSU and Texas in the tournament.
More with how LSU can handle South Carolina. Because I don't remember the last time they beat South Carolina.
Well, yeah, but still. More than likely, they'll probably be, well, at worst, they'll be the top 10. They'll probably be ranked number 5, actually, when they do face off against one another in the tournament. So we will see because, well, UConn, they weren't ranked 5, they're ranked 7, and they spanked them in Columbia by 29. So, you know, they can have the comfortability of, yeah, we own the Tigers, but you can have that comfortability and then slip up at the wrong spot and take an L.
Remember, this college basketball only takes one bad night, and that's it for your season.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I know the Gamecocks own the under the Lady Gamecocks own the Lady Tigers. But like you said, it only takes one. It only takes one. It only takes one bad performance by South Carolina, and that same night, LSU could be hitting every single thing from everywhere.
I think it's a mental thing when it comes to LSU when they see South Carolina at this point in time.
It might be.
Then yesterday, on President's Day, you got to see the number 1 team in the land, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, host the number 11 seed Duke Blue Devils. We're gonna talk about: is it me or does Notre Dame have the best backcourt in basketball? Between Olivia Miles and Hannah Hidalgo, good gracious,
it's looking more and more like it. And they seem to be making good decisions with the ball. I think that's what I like about that backcourt. And when you have a heady backcourt like that, yes, even the shooting guard too, because sometimes the shooting guard, if talented enough, can handle the rock too. Only good things can happen because they're able to set the other pieces up well. So yeah, I think this will bode well for the Lady Fighting Irish going forward, and of course you will have a more of course with opponents it'd be more of an emphasis on trying to shut their backcourt down, and what like you might see like matchups of lankier women or stockier women to try to put pressure on the ball carriers and slow them down. You might see that when we get further along in the NCAA tournament time. So it's a great thing for the Lady Fighting Irish. Of course, what I have to say is they got to find other ways to score along with that backcourt.
Yeah, West Virginia got a big win over a 12th ranked Kansas State. Jeez, they put 70 on them. You're not supposed to put 70 on Kansas State, but hey, West Virginia found a way to do it. And yes, Pharaoh, they are tied, but Texas owns the tiebreaker. Funny how these tiebreakers work. Texas owns the tiebreaker, and Texas is in front.
Wait, how are they on the tiebreaker? They split.
Like I said, it's crazy how these things work. They split, but Texas is number one in the Southeastern Conference. That can change.
Well, I mean, I'm not arguing. I just found that strange.
Yeah, they say that's what happens when you watch the entire game, including post game. You find crazy stuff that you wouldn't think. So yes, they said on the broadcast. Yes, Texas is now number one in the Southeastern Conference.
Wow!
And plus, they're the highest ranked Southeastern Conference team, by the way, too.
Wow!
Speaking of rankings, the top 16 was revealed before the big Sunday triple header.
The top 16.
Obviously, UCLA was coming in as the overall number one team.
They ain't now.
Followed by South Carolina, Texas, and Notre Dame, all being on the one line.
Oh, poor South Carolina.
Then you had Kentucky. No, take that back. You had USC, UConn, NC State, and LSU on the two line. Well, that two line for LSU might change after that loss to Texas. And UConn could be in a one line spot when they do their next reveal after they big win at South Carolina. Mm-hmm. Then for the three line, Duke, TCU, North Carolina, Kansas State. And then on the fourth line, Kentucky, Ohio State, TCU, and Duke. Now, you wasn't able to join me last week, sir.
Okay.
But I did say this, and I'm going to say it again. UCLA, South Carolina, Texas, Notre Dame, USC, UConn, and LSU should all be in the Elite Eight, which leaves only one spot left up for grabs. Do you agree or disagree?
Let me ponder that again. Mention those seven.
UCLA, South Carolina, Texas, Notre Dame, USC, UConn, and LSU.
Yeah, they're the seven best programs playing today. I agree with you. I can't see any other program that could usurp any of the other seven. I agree with you.
Even what happened, I'm still sticking to my 7 teams.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. If all goes the way it's supposed to go, those seven will be in the Elite Eight. Goodness gracious, I can't speak.
But North Carolina did get a big win. Ohio State always seemed to be around for whatever reason. Not a lot of people talking about TCU, and Haley Van Lith has that team balling. Haley Van Lith might have the personality of Kevin Durant, by the way, because she do not want to be in the spotlight. She just want to hoop.
Oh Lord,
man, leave all the other stuff away.
Not this Anthony Edwards type of conversation. I just want to hoop. I don't care about being the face of the league. All right, cool.
That's saying, if you ever notice, you don't never hear anything from Haley Van Lith.
Yeah, that's true.
So she might be in that category. Like, I just want to ball and just leave everything else alone. That's all. But that's your top 16 teams from Sunday. We'll see what it looked like when this Sunday comes and what spots has been changed. This is going to be a fun ride until March Madness. The interchanging parts of the brackets. And which leads us to games to watch tonight on ESPN Plus. 24th ranked Cowboys of Oklahoma State. They are in Salt Lake City to take on Utah, which is interesting that I don't see a ranking but beside Utah name. Very strange to be 20-5 and not have a ranking beside your name.
Well, they're following after the football footsteps.
You is cold. You is cold. Jeez, you is cold. Oh my gosh. And then tomorrow, we get to see JuJu Watkins back at it in prime time. As the 4th ranked Trojans host 22nd ranked Spartans of Michigan State. 9:30 on the Peacock.
So we're gonna see an encore performance from JuJu, or we're gonna see one of those where it's like, I'm just gonna chill.
If Kiki shows up, then yes. Jeez. Kiki struggled against UCLA, but JuJu went off. Can I get a Kiki sighting, please? Yeah, you transfer from Standard to play with JuJu, so you might as well go off with her. And then the big day of the week, that would be Thursday. Look at these games here. This slate right here is going to determine a lot when Sunday gets here. Alabama is at Tennessee on SEC Network Plus at 6:30 on Peacock. Ohio State, who we just talked about, they are in Bloomington. They are in Assembly Hall.
Bloomington.
And if you know your basketball, you know what Assembly Hall means to the game of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you got a ranked team walking in there. I warned Florida State, they didn't listen. I'm warning Coach Lawson and her Blue Devils. You got Louisville walking into Cameron Indoor. Just because Louisville don't got the names no more doesn't mean it's not Louisville still.
Well, I'm sure. I'm sure the Lady Blue Devils will be prepared.
13 ranked Wolfpack, they're trying to pick themselves up. I guess the team who also trying to pick themselves up in 20 ranked Yellow Jackets. So somebody gonna get 2 losses in the span of a week.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how the Wolfpack do in Atlanta.
Vanderbilt will be in Norman, Oklahoma, take on 16 ranked Sooners, 7 p.m.
Beat them, Commodores.
Nobody asked for your advice.
And I ain't talking about Lionel Richie neither.
And then the nightcap on the Big Ten Network, 9:30 p.m. The 3rd ranked Bruins. We will see if Lauren Betts will be able to play in that game against 25th ranked the Fighting Illini of Illinois.
She might just let it all hang out. Ow, she's a brick house. That lady stack, that's a fact. Ain't on nothing back. Ow, she's up. Oh, I'm sorry, my
bad. This guy here does.
What?
He never stops.
All I said was beat down the Sooners Commodores, and I just got happy. I was saying Commodores. Oh man, I've heard Brick House in a minute.
We'll be back.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition,
dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
In a world where chronicles of the past are brought to the streams, whether the content is relatable or completely beyond your realm of life, there is no shadow of a doubt that this show is absolutely full of shenanigans. Get ready for
D. Willie in the evening.
This Sunday at 10:05 p.m. Eastern.
Exclusively on Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Shop hats and official sports gear at Lids. Lids is the leader and #1 destination for hats, gears, and everything that moves you, making it the perfect shop for fans to find official sports hats, merchandise, and gear. Represent your team, your town, and your style with a snapback adjustable fitted hat or beanie from thousands of college and pro teams. Browse the very latest sports jerseys and t-shirts from the best teams out there. Lids has officially licensed professional and college sport team apparel and hats featuring the hottest brands and trends. Shop online or visit one of the 100 stores across the country.
As we come back to Shooting Lights Out, why he was still singing the Commodores for whatever reason.
Check it down, check it down, down. Check it down, check it down, down. Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's get to the men's side of the college world.
You were talking about Vanderbilt, and they, of course, Vanderbilt's nickname's the Commodores.
Would you stop it? Let's go back to Saturday, because Saturday was a big day for the men's side. Number 1, Auburn. They survived in Tuscaloosa against the second-ranked Crimson Tide. The Iron Bowl in basketball lived up to the hype.
Look, you Karen, don't you upstage a young fella by trying to chase down a ball just because he wears an Auburn jersey. Sit your butt down, shut your butt up, and watch your team get spanked.
I must have missed something watching that game.
I forgot the guy's name, but it was an Auburn player who was chasing the ball, went out of bounds, and of course a Karen-looking Tide fan was chewing out the Auburn player just because he was wearing Auburn jersey.
Interesting. Johni Broome, 19 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists to lead number 1 in that big Iron Bowl win. A win that they needed after they got demolished by the Florida Gators in the jungle.
Oh wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, notice the smile on Playmaker's face when he just said that last statement.
Hey, what can I say? I got more to say coming. You guys wait. Big win for the Auburn Tigers. Alabama, they just couldn't. You know, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it,
okay,
Alabama was in the same position South Carolina was. They just couldn't find it.
And
for whatever reason, they just couldn't find it at home.
And sometimes you have those games. It's a big game. It's at home, and sometimes you can't find it, and then you might run up against a team that where you can't find it, your opponent does, and in Auburn's case, they did often. So yeah, I mean, you have those nights. Now, can they repeat the same performance when they go to Auburn?
Well,
That
they already lost once in the jungle.
That remains to be seen.
And then we go. Wisconsin beat Purdue by 10, and it's the shooting performance that is the Wisconsin team that I grew up knowing.
Now,
you see, only a team like Wisconsin can shoot 61.5% from the freaking field.
Now, what I love to see is the fact that you have 7 turnovers between the teams. 7. That's how you're supposed to take care of the ball. One team with 4, another team with 3. That's how you're supposed to take care of the ball. Now, you could say on the other end, this was porous defense, but sometimes
but
it works for the offense, and sometimes it works better for the D.
But is it really porous defense if we know the history of Wisconsin basketball?
That's what I'm saying. So sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's poor defense, and sometimes it's stellar offense. And yes, by what you're saying, Wisconsin, they take care of the ball. They normally like to drain the clock down to and not taking the shot till probably there's 7 seconds or less on the shot clock, and they will pass the ball. And they want to make sure that they get the best shot they can on every possession.
That's Wisconsin basketball.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Good showing by the Badgers. Boilermakers, you'll pull yourself back up. Y'all have a neck of pulling yourself back up. And then we had the Longhorns upsetting 15-ranked Kentucky.
Ow! That's what I'm talking about.
The much needed win the Longhorns needed.
Yeah, otherwise we'd be NIT bound.
That's why you said it was a good week for Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
And then
why is Kentucky crying twice? Oh, they lost to the men and the women's teams. Oh, no wonder.
And then Kansas upset it in Salt Lake City by the Utes.
So I guess Jayhawks, you're not that top team that you're supposed to be coming the season, huh?
You know, Coach Johnson, you know what you just did? You just foreshadowed. Ladies and gentlemen, I must bring this to the forefront here. As you see here to your left, the 23rd ranked, they're currently ranked 23rd now. The Kansas Jayhawks, preseason number 1.
That's right.
They are at 17-8 overall. They are 8-6 in the Big 12.
Yeah.
They key wins are over North Carolina, Michigan State, Duke, and Iowa State.
Okay.
3 of them teams are currently ranked. The other one is not. And I guess you can figure out which one is not.
Mm-hmm.
The key losses: Creighton, Missouri, Iowa State, Houston, Baylor, Kansas State, and the aforementioned Utah.
Well, okay, the loss to Houston's a key loss, but Houston's one of the better teams in college football, college basketball. So you had to shrug your shoulders on that one. Now, why they couldn't take care of business against Cyclones again, that I don't know. But yeah, they keep going.
The big one for me is
they might be out the bubble. Yeah.
The big one for me is when they got beat by Missouri.
Yeah, I was gonna say they keep losing. Yeah, supposedly a rival of theirs, supposedly their biggest rival, which I don't believe it is.
That's Kansas State.
That's what I believe. That's who I believe is.
And Kansas State beat them too. So
yeah, that's who I believe is. Yeah, that's how I believe is the biggest rival. But
both rivals.
They keep going to where they're going, and they will be playing for the NIT instead of in that NCAA tournament. So they got to. They got to make a good show. They got to make a really good showing in the Big 12.
Are you saying Kansas is on the same trajectory as who was the last number 1? North Carolina?
Yes. Where you mean talking about last year where they struggled, and they.
No, not last year. I'm talking about the year before. Was it 2 years before when there was the preseason number 1 and they found themselves not even participating in the NIT, which was a smart decision.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yes. They're heading in that direction because it looks like that team believed in the press clippings back in November that they were the best team in college basketball, and I still think they still believe they're the best team in college basketball.
Not ranked 23rd.
I agree with you.
However,
they're playing like they still believe it.
However, they're not the only team on this list. The back-to-back champions, UConn Huskies, they are not ranked currently. They are also 17-8 on the season, 9-5 in the Big East. Now they got big wins over Baylor, Gonzaga, Marquette, and Creighton.
Okay, that's cool.
They do have losses to Memphis, Colorado, Dayton. Oh, and by the way, all 3 of them games was in Maui. So they went 0-3 in Maui Invitation.
So they love that vacation.
They lost to Villanova, and God knows what the heck Villanova is right now. They lost to Creighton. Creighton got their lit back. And then they lost to St. John's that's last week. Which means Rick Pitino's out there. Rick Pitino is showing y'all that he can still coach ball. Even though all y'all tried to trash him, he is showing y'all he can still coach ball.
Bobby Hurley, You may have made a mistake in coming back to UConn. You probably should have taken that Lakers job after all.
I was thinking it, but you said it out loud. I was thinking it, but you said it out loud. So that came from Cole Johnson's mouth, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir. And I stand by it.
Do the fan bases of these two big time blue bloods need to be concerned at this moment in time?
Okay, let me see. If you're Kansas, yes. And the reason why, they really are not playing all that well in the Big 12. And they haven't really been playing well leading up to this year. So I think they have some concerns. With UConn, 2 years ago, correct me if I'm wrong, sir. 2 years ago, UConn was not really on the radar. And then they beat teams by double digits from the first round all the way to the national championship game. So you have that as a guidon. You have that as a tent pole. You have that as a foundational piece that Hurley can say to his guys, look, we weren't the stellar guys like we were last year, 2 years ago. You know, people didn't think that we were going to win the national championship. They raved all of us winning it last year from jump, and we did. They weren't saying that in 2023, and we got our flowers. And we clobbered every single team. Once we got into the dance, we took care of business.
Yeah.
We got to do the same thing.
2 straight tournaments, they beat everybody by double digits. It was like good crisis.
Yeah. So we got to do that this year. We got to think like that 2023 team where we weren't on anyone's radar. People thought a lot less of us, but we in this building think a lot more of ourselves.
If you're watching, should UConn fans be concerned? Should Kansas fans be concerned? That is the question of the show. Do these two blue blood programs should be concerned? Because I don't know about Coach Johnson, but when I saw Kansas as the number 1 preseason team, I did not have them losing 8 games in the middle of February.
I did not have them being number 1 around now. Well, I figured they were going to drop precipitously. Now, did I think they would be number 23? No. I figured they would be higher, like 10 to 15.
And the same thing goes with the back-to-back champions. Dan Hurley comes back. Okay. That means he's not going to lose no recruits. They're not even ranked. He was preseason ranked number 3.
Mm-hmm.
They not even ranked. So it's something that I'm pondering right now.
Mm-hmm.
And since Coach Johnson wanted to be cold, let me allow me to be cold, which I shouldn't be cold because I love her so much. But I noticed I haven't heard Molly bring up UConn in quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard Molly bring up UConn in quite some time on First Take.
Well, she needs to be quiet about her alma mater. They ain't playing all that well.
Just saying.
Oh, but she'll bring them up when they start playing better. Watch. She'll be claiming she'll be making bets with everybody who's on the staff and on camera with First Take, clown them and have them wear UConn gear. But once they win another national championship, she'll pipe up. But right now, she needs to be to the quiet.
Just saying. There's 2 blue bloods that's going in the wrong direction. Especially UConn, because I did not see UConn going 0-3 in Maui. That I did not see happening. You couldn't even beat Dayton in Maui.
At least it wasn't in Dayton.
It was in Hawaii, which makes it worse. Now, Sunday, speaking of the St. John's, they took down 24 ranked Creighton, 79-73. And then speaking of the aforementioned Tigers of Memphis, Sir, they choked away this game against Wichita State. They choked this game away.
You know, I'm starting to be concerned with Memphis. They built to actually have good talent on their team, and they do have good talent on their team, and Penny is doing a good job leading them. But they seem to have these lapses, like this game here, and I don't know why they would. I don't understand why they would have these lapses. They are the better team here, and they thought that they could just simply roll up at the gym and win just by the jersey on their shirt on their persons. But yeah, that's the only issue I have with Memphis. They just have these moments where, yeah, I think they're on their way back, but can you say they are championship contenders? No, because they have games like this.
Terrible. Come on, Penny. Come on. Can't lose games like this. Especially a team that only won 14 games before you got to them. Terrible. Now, I did say that the ladies' top 16 was revealed. So were the men. You have Auburn, obviously the overall number 1 seed. Alabama. Duke. And that 4th number 1 team.
Duke. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
Would you stop? I don't say it Duke so many times. Now that's the time you want to do it.
Well, that's why I did it.
I don't say it. I don't talk about the Duke women team. now they mention the Duke, but not this is the time you want to do it. You is something else.
Yes, you mentioned it. I was like, okay, well, I guess it must be a sign. Duke,
no, it's not.
Duke.
Jeez. What is wrong with you?
I'm sorry. So Duke, Alabama, Auburn, and Florida, they're the number 1. They're the number 1 seeds thus far.
That's right. Florida's the number 1 seed. Put some respect on Florida's name.
All right, Cougars, inch them out. Move them out. You supposed to be in the number 1 land. Come on now.
Oh, now you want to get serious? Oh, now you want to get serious? Oh, now you want to get serious? Now he wants to get serious.
I'm just saying the truth. I mean, Houston came in. They were supposed to. That people preseason wise, they were saying they were a Final Four team, and being a number 2 ranked team or number 2 seeded team in a bracket preview, that says that people don't think they are Final Four worthy.
So those of you who need a refresher, the preseason poll came like this: number 1 Kansas, number 2 Alabama, number 3 UConn, number 4 Houston.
Mm-hmm.
You had Iowa State 5, Gonzaga 6, Duke 7, Baylor 8, UNC 9, and Arizona 10.
Mm-hmm.
That was all the way back in November. Florida came in at 21.
And credit Florida. They're showing that they have backbone, and dare say this is probably the first time people have talked about them in this type of light since Joakim Noah was on the team, and that's what 18, 19 years ago.
Dang, out of all the people on the team, Joakim Noah was the first person that came to your head.
Well, the biggest person on the team. That's why it came to my head.
The biggest person on the team was Al Horford.
Well, I can't say Al Horford because I'd laugh because I think of Wyatt saying F. Al Horford.
Because he plays for Boston.
Yeah, played with Boston. So I tried not to go there. So I was like, okay, what? I say what?
Like, I'm like, all the people on that team, the first person came to your head was Joakim Noah.
So I was like, which play could I do that I could think of that Wise did not curse out? That was on that team that wore floor. Oh, that's right. Joakim Noah. Okay.
Jeez. Oh my God. You
and besides, he crapped on Cleveland. That made it even better.
He ain't say Al Horford. Now I can forgive him for not saying the other one, just because he probably won't remember them because they ain't played that long.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a Gator fan, so I can say Torian Green. I can say Lee Humphrey. I can say Christopher Richardson. I can say, Corey Brewer. I can say these names.
And I've heard of them, but yeah, you're right. They're not in my memory like it would be for you. Totally understand that.
But what did I tell y'all? Cole, what is my rule about coaching?
That you actually have a brain. You gotta have a brain that actually be on the sideline.
Don't I say give them 3 years? Give them 3 years.
Well, yeah.
And see what you get.
Yeah.
Guess what year this is for Todd Golden? This is year 3 for Todd Golden.
Well, yeah. You got to give a coach time. I mean, I don't care what level. You got to give a coach time. You got to see if what plans they have in terms of building a team to success. Any game. It doesn't matter if it's football, basketball, hockey, baseball. It doesn't matter. You got to give that program time to see if they can produce a winning culture. And that it requires patience, which unfortunately for many programs and many teams, they don't possess that. But kudos to your Gators. They did. And look where they are. They actually are one of the 4 best teams thus far right now in the men's college basketball game.
And those of you running Florida is ranked number 2 in the AP polls. It's been a long time since Florida fans can see a number 2 by the side of Florida.
Yeah. So yeah, congrats to your Gators, man. I mean, this is the first, literally, this is the first time in almost 20 years people have talked about the basketball program of Florida in such high regard.
And by the way, they beat 2 number 1 teams in the same season. You don't supposed to beat 2 number 1 teams in the same season.
Yeah.
And not only they beat them, they dominated both of them games.
So yeah, if I were you, since you're a big Gator fan, I'd be happy too.
But here's the main thing. You see Auburn, you see Alabama, you see Florida.
Yes.
You see Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
You see Texas A&M. You see Kentucky.
There's a lot of SEC teams. Yes.
The SEC, we're supposed to be a football conference.
Yeah, they're ruling. Yeah, they're ruling basketball.
But we are ruling basketball right now.
In the women's side too. But yeah, they're ruling basketball. Yeah.
You're supposed to be a football conference though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and got clowned for not winning a national championship this year because of that. Yes.
But the basketball programs said, hold up.
Mm-hmm.
We about business too. Now, outside of the SEC, Duke looks good. Houston.
I agree.
It's Houston's defense that keeps them.
Oh yeah,
the
and that's why I like this team. If you could shut teams down on the defensive end, you stand a chance of winning every single game. Now, of course, when you have that as a feather in your cap, you can't go cold on the offensive end, which a defensive sound team normally can in different games go ice cold on the offensive end.
That's why I didn't win the Arizona was surprising. I'm like,
I was going to say, and that's why I think they are on the number 2 line instead of the number 1 line, is their offense has not caught up with their defensive effort.
Because Houston do not want to get in the shootout with nobody.
No, they want to grind you down. They want to grind you down and grind you out.
Because Houston getting in the shootout, good luck.
Mm-hmm.
And that's coming from a Houston Cougar fan, by the way.
Yeah, they want to grind you down and grind you out. But in the grinding down and grinding you out, you got to have some offensive acumen to offset having dogs and having a dog mentality on the defensive end.
Like I said, y'all put some respect on Rick Pitino's name. Look what St. John's is at. Who had St. John's as a top 4 seed?
Nobody.
At any point of the season.
Nobody.
Y'all put some respect on Rick Pitino's name.
Nobody.
That man said, what? I'll take a team that's usually just on the outside looking in most of the time. And I'm going to turn him around. Look what he did. St. John's will be in the tournament. St. John's will be in the tournament.
Oh, they are. The only thing that will keep them out is if they have a losing streak on the way out this from here on to the end of the regular season, and they get bounced on the first round in the Big East Conference.
And how me and you both know about Rick Pitino, that doesn't happen to Rick Pitino.
That won't happen. So yeah, they're as good as in the tournament.
But the SEC is still up for grabs. Auburn might be number one, but good Lord have mercy, that conference is ridiculous.
I mean, it took a great effort in Tuscaloosa to beat Alabama, who's the number 2 team, and to me, I don't consider that a bad loss for the Tide.
No,
I mean it's a loss, but I don't consider it a bad one. They showed up. It's just unfortunate that Auburn they just brought it offensively a little more, and it happens. And that happens.
Full disclosure, I'm gonna let y'all know. If y'all ask me who was my favorite basketball announcer, number one would be Dickie V.
Oh, congrats on coming back, Dickie V.
But second on that list, Jimmy Dykes. I would listen to Jimmy Dykes over Jay Billis, being completely honest. I don't know how Cole feel about that, but I'll listen to Jimmy Dykes before I listen to Jay Billis.
I like Jay Billis. What's wrong?
I like Jay Billis too.
Okay.
But you listen to Jimmy Dykes call a game, man.
I can understand that.
Jimmy Dykes.
I don't hate that. So yeah, that's cool. And I like Jimmy Dykes too.
I think Jimmy Dykes, he was calling. I think it was Florida and Tennessee game, or one of the Florida games, and he was saying in this conference, he was talking about the conference in general, because how deep this conference is. Not deep as far as in how many teams, deep as the talent that the SEC is putting on display in college basketball this season.
Yeah.
He said, don't make one loss into 4 losses. Saying don't lose one game and then let that game trickle down to the other games.
That's very sound advice, because it could, like, I'd take for instance Alabama. It could. You lose by 10 at home to your biggest arch rival, and this was the game that you probably had written in red ink, and you underscored it and underlined it because that same rival ended up being the number 1 ranked team in the country to boot. And I can see how that could just send you on the tailspin, and then you look at yourself 2 weeks later, you went from number 2 to number 15.
And he said that, and Florida lost to Kentucky. You got to pick yourself back up, because 2 days later, number 1 Tennessee was coming into Gainesville. You saw what happened in that game.
Yeah, they got destroyed by 30. Wow.
Tennessee got destroyed. They had to go back home because they had. I don't know if it was it Kentucky? No, it wasn't Kentucky. It was somebody else coming in. They picked themselves up. They got a W. Can you pick yourself up after you lose?
And in the SEC, you have to pick yourself up, because if not, you'll be left in the dust.
Auburn lost at home to Florida. They go to Tuscaloosa and get a dub.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say, if you don't pick yourself up, you'll be left in the dust in the SEC. Left in the dust.
Remember we talked about Kansas, right?
Mm-hmm.
They already lost 8 games. If I was to go to the SEC right now and see how many teams have lost 8 games in the entire conference.
Talk about embarrassment of riches.
It is stupid of what this conference is.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the SEC? Where? All right, let's see. So you have Texas, Arkansas, Georgia, Oklahoma, LSU, and South Carolina. 6 teams with more than 8 losses in the Southeast Conference. That means that's 10 teams with 8 losses and less.
10.
10.
10. With 8 or less losses. 10.
This is stupid. And one of those teams is Vanderbilt. They knocked off Tennessee. They knocked off Kentucky. Tennessee got some quality wins. I might want to patch this to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt got some quality wins. Because every time I'm like, darn, they already know. Good gracious, what is going on in Nashville? Maybe you have an answer for me because I'm like, what is going on in Nashville right now? They knocking out teams left and right. Where did this come from?
Well, I guess they also feel as though they got to step up. They're seeing all these teams. They're seeing all this good play, and now you have the new schoolers in Oklahoma and Texas coming in, and Texas is making themselves feeling pretty good. Although in basketball, in the men's side of basketball ledger, not so much.
But yeah.
I think Banfield is like, I think we need to pick up the pace.
But yeah, it's been college basketball has been excellent this year. And then tonight, speaking of the Southeastern Conference, 7th-ranked Texas A&M, they are in Starksville to take on 21st ranked Bulldogs of Mississippi State. That is 7 p.m. on the SEC Network. Also at 7 p.m. on the Peacock, Tom Izzo and the Michigan State Spartans are hosting Purdue.
H to the Izzo, I'm the T to the Izzo, E to the Izzo.
8:30 on FS1, 11th-ranked Badgers are hosting the Fighting Illini. And then at 9 p.m. on ESPN, can Kansas pick themselves up? They go from Salt Lake City to Provo to take on the BYU Cougars. Somebody's getting the 18th win, and somebody's getting the 9th loss.
And somebody might take a woman in Utah and become a polygamist.
You was on one today.
What?
You was on one today. You was on one today.
What did I say now?
You was on one today. You was on one today. I see. I ain't been the only one been watching Pat McAfee, especially that time he spit in Utah. You was on one.
What did I say now? I mean, I'm just being entertaining. That's all.
You was on one today. That's tonight. Tomorrow, speaking of Vanderbilt, they are at Rupp Arena to take on 17-ranked Wildcats. They already caught them once. Can they catch them again, this time on the road? And then
once, twice, 3 times a lady.
And speaking of picking yourself off the mat, can the 4th-ranked Crimson Tide pick themselves off the mat when they travel to 15th-ranked Missouri to take on the Tigers?
Yes, you won. Twice. 3 times a lady. And I love
And that would do it for your college basketball talk for this show.
And I love.
We're going to do a final break, and guess what? The fun begins because All-Star Weekend. There will be some fireworks going off on this one. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Ringside Chaos. Thing with Tony Khan now being in talks to buy WWE. I'm going to be honest with you. I spoke to this with Ricky Litwinkowicz, aka the Master of Mayhem, and he honestly believes that me talking about Tony Khan buying WWE is that basically I'm kind of wasting my time because Ricky believes it's never going to happen. Okay. Now, a wrestling fan that's been super supportive of Brody Lee as a wrestler and everything that WWE could have done with him and, everything that he could have shown and, offered for the wrestling business. For me, I wasn't just a fan of Brody Lee himself, like in character. I strongly respected him, as a human being. Like, I had a lot of respect for Jonathan Huber. That's Mr. Brody Lee's real name. So basically, I had a lot of respect for Brody Lee, Luke Harper, and of course, Mr. Jonathan. Ladies and gentlemen, Ringside Chaos is available on all streaming platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and YouTube.
WWE Shop is your online source for all things WWE. Be a part of the excitement and score wrestling gear for big events like WrestleMania or SummerSlam. From current superstars to legends, from Raw to SmackDown to NXT. Don't miss this chance to shop for the most awesome WWE merch. Shop for the best deals as well as WWE gift cards and save big on your favorite items. WWE Shop at Fanatics Experience.
Cool McCain.
You thought you wanted Gunther against Chad Gable, but you didn't. And I'm going to tell you why. Chad Gable would take everything that Gunther's done and bury it.
The Playmaker.
It was on site. AJ Styles walked out there, seen LA Knight. Oh, okay, then LA Knight hopped out the car. Let's go.
Break down everything in TNA, AEW, and all of the WWE programming. Join these two kings, monarchs of wrestling, live every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central on the Play Caller Sports Talk YouTube channel.
All right, welcome back.
My king rule the world. Oh, sorry about that.
This is what Cole Johnson does. This is what he does. But now, unfortunately for Cole Johnson, all the fun and games are now over. Now we got to go to the NBA because All-Star Weekend took place. San Francisco, the Bay Area, where was it? I heard no good things about the All-Star Weekend whatsoever.
Well, but there was one good thing. We saw Matt McClung become the first ever three-time back-to-back.
I gotta go through the proceedings. Okay.
Fine, sir. Fine.
Skills challenge. Team Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley won the skills challenge. Tyler Hero of the Miami Heat won the 3-point shootout. And the aforementioned of the Orlando Magic, which I didn't even know we signed him, to be quite honest with you.
The only reason why we were supposed to watch All-Star Weekend.
Mike McClung. I think he's the only person in slam dunk contest history who have every dunk to be perfect.
Yeah. Well,
every single dunk.
Yeah, got a 50 with every dunk. Mm-hmm. And he set the table beautifully by dunking over a car and not jumping over the hood, but actually jumping over the body of the car.
This man's a 3-time slam dunk champion.
Back to back.
Well, fans, y'all wanted the 3-peat, right? Y'all didn't think about that 3-peat.
You have one now.
That 3-peat was not the one you were thinking about. But you got a 3-peat.
No. Now, here's what upsets me about this. You having people like John Morant say, "Oh, Mac, I see what you're doing. I might enter the slam dunk competition next year." And Giannis after him saying, "Well, if you do it, I'll join."
Zach LaVine hops in.
And then
I might have to go one more round.
And you know what?
I might have to go one more round.
And you know what I got to say about all of them? Stop lying. You get to January, you forget that you actually tweeted that stuff, and then when you say, "Oh yeah, I did that," but you know what? The way my back is set up. Shut up. You ain't gonna be doing no slam dunk competition on All-Star Weekend next year.
And it's in LA. Why not bring the stars back?
So they're staying in California.
Yep.
Okay.
It's in LA. Why not? You check.
Too bad, Oracle.
You know what? I'm gonna save that word for later on.
Too bad, Oracle. You know, Chase Center looks really nice, but man, I miss Oracle.
You sound like Snowman right now.
I do. I know, but I do miss Oracle.
Him and all the venues that he misses, like things change.
So I get that the Raiders and the A's did not want to play where you had rat infested places where rats actually ran on the field. I get that. But Oracle did not have the same issues as Oakland, Alameda County Coliseum did. At least not as many issues.
But they had issues.
But yes, I get evolution. They had to do that, and they had to move across the bay, and now they play in San Francisco. Beautiful arena. Yes, it is. But I still miss Oracle.
And then we get to this one. Shaq's OGs win the whole thing. Steph Curry is the MVP. And contrary to belief, he shouldn't have been the MVP. That should have went to Jason Tatum. But nevertheless, since it was in San Francisco, you got to give it to Steph Curry.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. That's what I was doing when the All-Star game.
Anthony Edwards didn't play because of a groin injury.
Nice. I love the fact you don't like being the face of the league. Beautiful job, Anthony. Beautiful job, son.
So the day of, you have a groin injury. So what was you doing?
I wonder where he gets that idea.
Oh, you mean this?
That's where he gets it.
LeBron James sat out for the first time in 20 years because of a foot and ankle discomfort.
Now, memo to Bron Sexuals.
I created a special spot for you. A special spot for you. Special spot for you, sir.
Don't show the Bron Sexual God.
No, I
can't
got
go off.
you. Do you not trust me?
Okay. I do, sir, but
trust me. I know. I'm putting in everything. I'm trying to get all the news and notes out the way first. And then once the festivities of San Francisco were over, you had misreaction. Now you think you played three games. They ain't even total an hour, and you had more commercial breaks than the whole entire game played.
Mixed. What positive reaction did you get from that?
NBA All-Star Game format draws mixed reviews from players.
That's a lie. Because that had to be horrible. I can't see how anyone could say that was positive.
And then Giannis came up with the idea. Let's do US versus world. Let's try that format. You know why he tried that? Because guess what happened in hockey? Which, by the way, starts around the same time the NBA does. Which means they have the same All-Star break that the NBA does.
Yeah, U.S. Canada in Montreal. They dropped the puck. And 9 seconds into the dropping the puck, they had not one, not two, but 3 fights.
Hockey took over the weekend from the NBA. Hockey.
I would say they should feel ashamed of themselves, but they like Danielle Rawlings. I'm rich.
You know what hockey did? They say, you know what? We do play hockey, right? And even though this is a great time for us, we're going to do this whole 4 National League thing, Sweden, Finland, Canada, and USA thing, right?
Right.
And for some reason, when you put on that jersey that represents your country, it's just different. And it was hockey.
Yes, it is.
Like he said, 9 seconds in, we had 3 fights. And guess what? Everybody loved it.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the chair in the Sunday, US beat Canada in that matchup. So, yeah.
And they'll be meeting again Thursday for the title. And this is the same All-Star break that the NBA gets too. So,
and correct me if I'm wrong. I think the NBA was trying to borrow from the NHL All-Star Weekend with what they were trying to do. What a massive fail.
Now, hockey, what most people don't really talk about that much, took over the weekend for the NBA.
And on All-Star Weekend, normally, we don't even know when the NHL plays All-Star Weekend until either the day before, the day of. Not this year.
You know what hockey did? Hockey got rid of the little gimmicks, the little freestyle stuff. They said, no, let's make a little tournament. Round robin tournament. Round robin tournament, 4 countries. Everybody plays each other. Top 2 teams, they go and meet in the finals.
That was smart of them. That was smart of them to do that.
A plus to the NHL. NBA, you get an F. I did say F, right? Oh, I said
yes, you
F.
did.
Well, that brings me to the point that I was going to get to. Y'all getting a flavor file, and I'm not the one doing the LB Cole Johnson. So,
who made
go
that?
ahead,
I
Cole.
love that. All right, now here we go. Now, you all that claim that you love basketball, you said that this was supposed to be your time, right? This was supposed to be your shining moment, and you said the Sunday before the Super Bowl. Yes, I'm rewinding it back to February the 2nd. You said that, oh my gosh, the NBA dominated over the NFL, and this is their Super Bowl week. And I'm like, fools, please. It only got 2 days of domination because you had Luka Doncic being traded to the Lakers in exchange for Anthony Edwards and other pieces.
Anthony Davis.
It simply was the following. You had a team in the Mavericks who no longer has the majority ownership of Mark Cuban. So they now aren't going to spare no expense. They're going to be cheap. They're going to be cheap as a Persian rug. And they looked at the books. They saw Doncic was going to be owed almost $350 million. And they said, get this Serbian off our team. Let's trade him. Now, get him gone. Never mind the fact that he was the main reason why they got to the NBA Finals last year and got to the the conference finals a couple of years ago. No, let not the facts get in the way of a good story. No. Let's get rid of one ball dominant guy, since we already have another one in Kyrie Irving, and we'll put a big man in his place in Mr. Glass. Anthony Davis. And then what does he do? His very first game as a Mav, gone because of an injury. Now, NBA fan, this is what you say stole the coverage from the NFL during Super Bowl week? I don't think so. The play on the court has been abysmal. ABYSSMAL, abysmal. I mean, bad, to the point where we harken back to the days of the 90s where offense was at a premium. And that actually was better action than today, where defenses take a vacation on the court. And you all have been playing since mid-October. Mid-October, then you bored us through that crappy in-season tournament in November and early December. And then you basically sleepwalk your way through the Christmas schedule and got dominated by the NFL on that day. And then you just cruise your way to now, and the most exciting part of your year has been a trade that you did not see coming. Not the All-Star weekend, which that's supposed to have been the the unofficial announcement that the NBA will take over the sports schedule from now until early to mid-June. I don't think so. Now, we probably will get more interested and involved in when the playoffs come, because actually that's when the teams and the players actually give a crap. Because right now in this 82 game schedule, they don't. And they're going to show that they don't. And that is where I am troubled by the whole game in general. Oh, and speaking of the game in general, I'm coming to you on Mr. LeBron James. Now, they follow after your lead. I mean, you're 40 years and what? Almost 2 months of age. You are the stalwart guy. You are the brand. You are the main brand of the NBA. Bar none. No questions asked. I'm not saying you're the face of the league, but you're the biggest brand in the league. Yes, I would even say bigger than the Celtics, bigger than the Lakers, bigger than the Knicks. And right now, bigger than the team that actually is worth the most, which is actually the Warriors. Yes, you're the biggest brand in the NBA. Now, here you are, and you decide on the day of that your foot hurts, that you travel 430 miles north, and you're like, oh, my foot, old man and all, the foot, oh, it hurts. Negro, please. You knew your foot hurt before you took this All-Star break. You could have said to Adam Silver, I'm sorry, the commissioner of the league, you could have said to Silver then, look, I appreciate it. I'm gonna take this time and get and take off. Why don't you find somebody else who actually would want to play? I can't play. No. He hogs the spot, and he is in street clothes. This is your king, Bronxexuals. This is your king. And now you have a problem on your hands. This is your king, and your king needs to be retired right now. But he's not going to go anywhere because, he now has the pick of the litter for what he could do in the NBA. And no guy is really taking the reins from him. Yes, I could say SGA or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is doing his thing, and he is with Oklahoma City. Nikola Jokic is, of course, one of the best players in the game, one of the most skilled players in the game. And Jamal Murray is okay along with him. Giannis is fine, but not all that great, in my opinion. Damian Lillard, well, he's hot and cold. Anthony Edwards, who probably is the guy young enough and skilled enough to be the guy who could take the reins from LeBron James being the guy, doesn't want it. And then John Morant, who probably does want it, he won't get it for a while because, well, his brand is a little too dangerous, for Madison Avenue to touch. You see, Silver, you have a problem. You have a game that is not marketable, with a product on the court that is horrendous and is getting lapped. Your own sport is getting lapped by college basketball, both men's and women's, and the WNBA. It's getting lapped by them because you all are content on having 8-second possessions, chunking up crappy shots. And I mean crappy shots from 25 feet and further back. If not, you want to show off that you got handles because you want to break people's ankles so bad and try to penetrate to the basket. One of those two things, and you don't care about defense. Pitiful. And that is what we have to look forward to for the next 3.5 months. Meanwhile, people are saying, well, now we got Luka Doncic. Oh, yeah, the Lakers are title contenders. The man is 40. He old. There's nothing about him that screams championship. That move with Doncic That was a future move, not a present one. And so before you all continue to, because I've already seen the memes and the AI pictures of you're hoisting a trophy in the Lakers jerseys mid-June. Before you continue with this pipe dream, let me remind you, you have a product that needs saving. The whole product needs saving. The All-Star game is just a microcosm of it. And that's why I love how the All-Star game is laid out right now, because the All-Star game shows how lacking the whole product is. Shows it in broad, bright strokes. Because you got players that, okay, well, I'll do the 3-point shooting competition. We'll let the pups take over the slam dunk competition. And then the skills competition, Draymond Green, who is unfortunate. He leads the team, the Warriors. I mean, he leads the Warriors in assists, but he's as heavy-handed in throwing passes as he is big in his mouth and talking ill to referees and those he can belittle. The biggest smile that was put on my face, other than Matt McClung winning his third straight slam dunk competition, was seeing how Victor Wembanyama and Chris Paul was trying to gank the system. I love the fact that they were like, we ain't shooting no threes. We're just going to toss the ball in the air. That was the most entertaining portion of the weekend, because that monstrosity of Sunday, I don't know what you call it, but I understand it. I've actually said it, so I'm at fault. I've actually said that inside the NBA is a whole lot more entertaining than the product on the field and on the court. And guess what we saw? 32 minutes of basketball action and twice as much of the inside the NBA crew. So yeah, you're right. There you go. I'm at fault. I'm sorry. No, I ain't sorry for that. That is the truth. The inside the NBA crew is a whole lot more entertaining than the product on the court. It is atrocious. It is bad. It is horrible. And the All-Star game is the perfect portrait for where the game is going. Down the toilet. And I mean not just flush by itself. I mean with dung in it. And I mean the dung that is swirled around, with a whole lot of feces in it, with a whole ton of urine stacked on top of it, and a whole lot of toilet paper that was used by wiping the behind about 9 and 10 times. That is how bad the National Basketball Association is. And you know why? Because the most oft done topic of conversation is not who is the best scorer in the game. It's not who is the best assist person in the game. It's not who is leading the league in wins. It's not who is the team rising up or the team that is receding. It is not any of that. It is LeBron is the GOAT. We done with the 90s. Jordan is the GOAT. Screw Bron sexuals. That is the biggest topic of conversation with NBA fan. And that should tell you something. It should tell you that your product is putrid and you need to stop it, because I'm getting sick of every day looking at comparisons between a guy who retired 20 years ago and a guy who should have retired about 2 years ago, but still wants to hold on to former glory, because we got you all that want to simply get on your knees, grab the member and stroke it until joy juice just pops all over out of them. It is time to wake up, NBA. Your product is trash. And just look at the NBA All-Star Game weekend as proof. Whew. I feel for us the rest of this year. Goodness.
Feel good. You got it all out at your system?
Let me see. Have I? No. One more thing. To the man who argued me up and down about why Doncic left the Mavs, to the Mavs fan, you see, it was for money. And the team looked at him and said he was incapable of being in shape. And we did not want to come up with that change. So bye-bye to Doncic.
Sorry, right?
Eat that and
Sorry
settle
that I
with
asked
it.
that question. But yeah. Oh, y'all didn't think y'all can get my crack at it? Oh, yeah, what a shame. Cause look here. First of all, Adam Silver is trying his best. He's trying to come up with different ideas to make y'all play. But you know why All-Star Weekend sucks that way it does? It's because of the players. Didn't I hear last year? Correct me if I'm wrong, Coach. Didn't I hear last year that Larry Bird and Magic Johnson talked to the players about having some competitiveness in the All-Star game?
That it was lacking.
And what happened last year?
A rather decent All-Star game.
When the legends of the game are telling you that you need to respect the All-Star Weekend, and you still don't, where's the leadership? Oh, LeBron James, who, by the way, decided an hour before the game that he can't play because of foot and ankle discomfort. An hour before the game. An hour. Really?
Attitude reflect leadership.
Really? No, and everybody was complaining how Norman Powell should have been an All-Star, but y'all voted for LeBron James, and LeBron James said, no, I can't go an hour before the game. And Norman Powell missed out on an opportunity to be an All-Star for the first time in his career. That's effed up. I said earlier, Anthony Edwards, he couldn't go. He had a groin injury. When did you hurt your groin, sir? When did you have this groin injury? Because you didn't have a groin injury going into All-Star Weekend. So when did this groin injury happen? I'm just asking questions here. When did this groin injury happen?
Maybe he was in somebody's juice box.
No, I'm trying to figure this stuff out. And then a G Leaguer was really what McClung is, a G Leaguer. Has won the slam dunk contest 3 times in a row. 3 times in a row. And you think people will be satisfied with that? People that they don't see on their TV at all. But come to All-Star Weekend, we get to see him and he does all these great dunks. And you think the fans are supposed to be happy with this?
Yes.
Make it make sense.
The players, they make too much money. We rich.
And then Kevin Durant. I saw what you said on that, sir. And they talked about it on First Take. They talked about it on Get Up. Oh, and by the way, before I get to Kevin Durant, shout out to PK Subban. What you said on Get Up, I was like, yes, that man there gets it. And he's a hockey guy, not a basketball guy. But unfortunately, Cole Johnson, since he's a hockey guy, the NBA players are not going to hear that. It's going to go in one ear and not the other.
That's right.
But what he said was everything on point. But let me get to Kevin Durant. Fans complain about everything. Everything's not enough, which in the case, it is true.
You're right, Kevin. Here's one complaint. Brush that hair.
But you know what the problem is, Kevin Durant? We wouldn't be in this situation for the fans to complain about everything if y'all would have kept the tradition alive for All-Star Weekend.
Yeah.
We won't be here for you, LeBron James, to a lesser degree, Steph Curry, because Steph Curry does participate in the event that he specializes in, which is the 3-point contest. What's some other great stars in that generation that we can talk about? James Harden.
Kawhi Leonard,
who never shows. He don't show up for his regular games either. So
Paul George,
he having some struggles of his own right about now. But it's y'all generation. Y'all the reason why. And matter of fact, we can go to the inside the NBA. When Draymond said what Draymond Green said is factual. It's just 1, 3s, and layups. That's it. It's boring. But Charles Barkley had a. It's y'all generation the reason why it's like that. No, Draymond, you're right. You are absolutely right. Problem is, you guys ushered it in.
But it's the most athletic time of the ever in the
so
NBA.
Basically, Kevin Durant said, "Why don't you just give us a break then? Let's get rid of All-Star Weekend and just have a break." No, I got a better idea. No. I have a better idea, sir. Because Kevin Durant think he's slick. No. How about this? If you want to get away with All-Star Weekend, ask him to do this. Do it like this. Let's treat it like the NFL. How about you start the season in October? You go all the way through to the end of the regular season with no break. And then once the finals are set, you know, the 2 teams that's in the finals, the week before, you can have All-Star Weekend. How about that?
No, I like his idea better. Don't even play it at all.
No, you know why I like that idea better? Because guess what? The guys that are in the finals, they don't have to care.
They can't play. Yeah. And they'll
exactly.
bow out. Yeah.
And guess what's gonna happen to everybody else?
They'll bow out too.
You know why I'm doing it that way? Because that was it $76 billion deal that the NBA got?
Yes, sir.
Good, do it that way. You know what's gonna happen? NBC, Disney, Turner, Amazon, they're gonna want some of their money back. And when they want some of their money back, guess who money gets taken away from?
Yours.
Because since you're so wealthy paid and I don't want to mess up my money and all this other stuff, you can just give the proverbial middle finger to the fans for All-Star Weekend. And those are the exact words from Stephen A. Smith, by the way. It's y'all fault, players. Y'all the reason why the All-Star Weekend sucks. Y'all the reason why I didn't even care about the All-Star Weekend. I watched college basketball that weekend. Will it make it even more bad? After I got done watching college basketball, I went straight to watching Avatar. I ain't care. I ain't care what happened Saturday night. I ain't care what happened Sunday night. I didn't care. I watched me some Avatar and I went to bed, so I had to go to work in the morning. That's what I did Sunday night. I watched my college basketball. I said, I'm good for the day. I got my sports in. And you're talking to a guy who played the game of basketball. You're talking to a guy whose favorite sport is basketball. Stephen A's favorite sport is basketball. And guess what? He can care less about All-Star Weekend.
I care less about a whole league. All-Star or not.
So y'all doing a lot of complaining, but then one of y'all came with a solution except for Giannis. Giannis came up with the solution. And I love it because you know why? Team Avengers, who went down to Paris and won gold for the United States, going against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Victor Wembanyama, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, you know, Jamal Murray, all the guys that's not from the United States. And Coach Johnson, what would happen if the world was to beat the United States in an exhibition game?
Because it would because it would embarrass the U.S. players and it would actually do something that we haven't seen in the All-Star game, and that's instill pride in the players. Oh, my question though, what team would Joel Embiid play on? I'm sorry, my bad.
Joel Embiid only even made it All-Star weekend. He didn't even make it to this All-Star weekend. So yeah, you would never, when it comes to All-Star weekend, you would never hear me complain to Alan Silver, because you know why? Alan Silver is trying to do different stuff to get these players involved, but the players don't give a crap. So it's y'all fault, players. And here's the one thing I do want. I want the fans out there. Don't go. Because if you don't go, guess what's going to happen? If you don't show up for All-Star weekend, players will look stupid. You know why? Because they think they can just do whatever they want and get away with it. So yeah, when the second half of the season starts, which it starts tomorrow, because the Lakers and the Hornets got to make up that game from the whole fire situation that happened in LA. So they start the second half of the season tomorrow. I better see the competitive fire going into the playoffs. Since y'all ain't played in All-Star weekend, y'all better go all the effing out. You got me. And the reason why I say that, because here are your standings going into the second half of the NBA season. Cleveland is on top of the East, followed by the defending champ Boston Celtics. In my case, I don't care if that says 44-10. Boston is still the team to beat in the East.
I agree.
You got the Knicks, the Pacers, the Bucks, the Pistons. My man, they're holding on by a thread, but damn, we have not been the same since those injuries. The Hawks, the Heat, and the Bulls. With the 76ers, yes, that's right. The Philadelphia 76ers are sitting in the 11th spot.
They still actually have a shot at the play-in? Wow.
And Nets.
Okay.
On the West, the Oklahoma City Thunder, 44-10. They are the team to beat in the West. That I will come.
Agreed. And they ain't fully healthy. That's the scary.
You got the Grizzlies, the Nuggets, the Rockets sitting at 4. But they've been shaky lately, Cole Johnson. They've been shaky.
Yeah, they were too. And then the beginning of this month came and
the Lakers sitting at 5. The Clippers, even without Kawhi, the Clippers are still a top 6 team in the West.
Mm-hmm.
And that's without Paul George, because he's in Philly.
That's
the Timberwolves, the Mavericks, the Kings, the Warriors, the Suns, and the Spurs. So, Cole Johnson, as we close up shop, what you need to see in the second half of the NBA season?
I need to see more of a defensive effort in general, and I need to see these coaches actually take literally the bull by the horns and say that we can't have this lackadaisical type of offense, this lazy type of offense, and we got to play a team game. I mean, that's the only way I think we're going to actually be more entertained by that. Just as a whole, that's what I want to see. Now, in terms of teams and all of that, well, I want to see if the Nuggets can lick their wounds, because they did stumble in the first half and they finally got themselves right. I want to see if they can bounce back, or if they still are licking their wounds, not just from earlier this year, but from last year, how they got bounced in the Western Conference semifinals by the Timberwolves. Because I think if they don't, it shows that they have not really fully recovered from that. Of course, all eyes will be on the Mavericks and the Lakers, because you have that trade happen between the two teams, and people think that the Lakers are championship contenders. I don't. I'm with Playmaker. OKC, they're the team to beat in the West by a mile, by a country mile. And then in the East, yes, the Cavs have had an impressive start to their season, but until they can solve the riddle of how they can beat the Celtics, they will be a team that's just in the Celtics' way, and they can't afford to be a team the Celtics' way because they recently played a game in Cleveland where Boston proved you're not on our level, and you're not on our level in your own building, in your own barn, and we're going to show you. So I'm with you in the East. It is Boston's to lose. And I want to see Thibodeau actually learn from the Knicks, the head coach of the Knicks, Tom Thibodeau. Thibodeau. I want him to learn that he has to play more than 5 or 6 people in the rotation, because it is no coincidence that your team is strong around November, December, but they start to lag off around March and April, and then they have no legs in May. And I don't mind you running the team ragged, but or running the team hard, but you only use so few pieces in a year. And it's to the point where when you get deeper into playoffs, your team has no gas. And if they were to actually add maybe 2 or 3 more pieces to the rotation, I think they actually can make it difficult for the Celtics to advance, or if the Cavs drop, for the Cavs to advance. But until that happens, I see the Celtics in the East and the Thunder in the West, and I see a Thunders in the West by the country mile. The Celtics in the East, not so big of a range, but there's a team that's as experienced enough in the East to take them out.
All right, there you have it. That is Cole Johnson. More morning show with Cole Johnson and Total Football Talk. Appreciate you, sir.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for the platform, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to actually unleash on the NBA, because I've been saving that up for a good minute.
Can I say?
So thank you for using the platform.
So that'll do it for today's episode. Lengthy episode, but very fun episode. Now we get ready for the second half of the NBA season. And we are going down the stretch. About 2 weeks more of college basketball regular season action before we get into conference tournament play. And the fun really begins in college basketball. So let's see who's still on top of their game in college and who has took a nosedive in college. Until then, I'll talk to y'all next time.
You've done great. But you can't stop here. You can't stop now. You gotta keep going. Through all your trials and your tribulations, you gotta keep pushing. Now, finish your canvas.
Yeah, gotta get it out the mud, that's the only way to win. Who am I to point the finger like I never ever seen? Been through the ups and downs like the letter N. They don't let you through the door, better kick that again. Cause that's the only way to win. That's the only way to go. Gotta get it out the mud. Gotta get it out the flow. Cause that's the only way to go. Let's go.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. If you want to follow the podcast, you can follow it on all streaming platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and a whole lot more. This has been Shooting the Lights Out.
Masterpiece.